Welcome back, everyone. I am the World Archivist, here to bring to you the stories of the wider multiverse. Today, we cover a faction with ambitions of gigantic proportions, the Theos Titanos. As always, if you enjoy this kind of content, do consider leaving a like, a comment for the algorithm, and be sure to share it if possible. And if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so. Now with that out of the way, on to the story. Though Cassadros, Titan King of Erudition, did not show it, he was mildly annoyed at today's course of events. Early this morning, a routine inspection for a storage facility was interrupted by a massive rift leading to some place called the Fangmore. But since that was quickly resolved by sending an expedition team through, it was the least of his concerns at the moment. No. What had him annoyed was that he was called to a new council, called forth by his contemporary, Titan King Maginus. Though he had to admit, it wasn't every day the most violent and temperamental of them was the one to call them forth, especially regarding the facility now being displayed in the council chamber. I'm afraid some more context will be needed here, Maginus. The Titan King in question, with his ever-present staff in hand, gestured to the display as he answered. This Iceworld facility has been closely watched by my scouts for the past few weeks, and what they have been able to find is somewhat cause for concern. The place has become a minor fortress. The third of their number, Atlan, Titan King of the Titanos cult, spoke with heavy skepticism in his voice. I fail to see why this would cause alarm, Maginus. You know the nature of the universe we live in. Armies clash, and fortresses are built across countless worlds. Tell me, old friend, what makes this any different? It's not the fact that it happened that concerns me, but rather the rate at which their military power has been expanding. With a thought from the Titan King of the Border, the display updated, showing the same facility as before, but this time surrounded by a complex network of miles upon miles of trenches, supported by countless machine guns, fortified bunkers, and other defensive works. Behind the lines, structures such as communication towers could be seen. But the other Titan Kings were not convinced. Cassadros deigning to voice it. This proves nothing. Any military throughout the world can create something akin to this. This is well within reasonable expectations, especially for our own armies. You are right. It is to be expected from trained armies, but not for a bunch of untrained civilians, especially within the span of 2 weeks. Now this piece of information caused them to pause before Atlan spoke up. Unless they are getting outside help. Exactly. The question is who they are getting it from, and why. Cassadros pondered this question before he suddenly realized something. Has there been any strange happenings in regards to rift activity? Maginus raised his eyebrows at this. Now that you mention it, the world does seem to have become a sort of rifted nexus. As a result, activity has been higher than anticipated. It would make sense to a degree. This would explain how they're getting help, but not why. Atlan then took the time to respond. We can ask ourselves that all day long, but it will get us nowhere fast. which is why I propose we send an expeditionary force to find out. The proposal was met with little reaction, save for a chuckle from Atlan. Had this come from anyone else, I would have been shocked at such a bold proclamation. But you are just the type to propose such a thing. You are aware of the potential consequences should such an expedition fail. I am aware. I may be bold, but I am not a fool. It is not as if the ultimate goal is conquest. We would simply be looking for answers. Silence fell upon the chamber as the other two Titan Kings pondered this, lasting minutes before Atlan answered, Cassadros nodding his assent. Very well, then. It seems we have come to an agreement. I shall go ahead and notify the vassals. In the meantime, I trust you will select a capable commander, Maginos? A brief nod met this question, and soon enough, the council was dismissed. The next course of action for the Theos Titanos now decided.